with no fans, you can hear everything. Everything. I think that's the thing I hate the most, is hearing both coaches, everyone complaining and crying to the refs. You can always hear that too.
Oh, the refs, like, they probably hate the games because it's like everybody is like,
yeah,
literally. And then you got the referees that they're human beings too. At the end of the day,
I know
they just is getting just like tomatoes thrown at them all game.
I know, and then it's like, see you at the
suck.
pool,
Like,
see you at the omelet line. Welcome to Stewies' World, reporting live from the Wubble. I'm your host, Breanna Stewart. Thanks for joining me on my first ever episode of Stewies' World. I'm joined today by two amazing guests, Gabby Williams.
Hi, everybody.
And Diamond DeShields.
what's poppin'?
Gabby, Diamond, welcome to Stewies' World, Wubble to Wubble.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's lit in here.
I'm like, if you go like this, can you high five me?
Yay!
I'm like, because Diamond is on my right and Gabby's on my left.
Yeah, you're in the middle.
Oh. Do we need to wash our hands? Do we need to sanitize?
I mean, for the people that don't know, we've gone way back. I mean, Gabby and I went to UConn together, but Diamond, we played USA basketball since
like
the
ninth
teens.
grade.
The teens.
Yeah, 15, 14, 15.
So we've seen
Crazy.
all of the rough things and all of the flourishing and all of it.
Exactly.
So we've been in the Wubble for a few weeks now, and how's it been? I mean, it's been a month, to be honest. It's been a month. I look up and I'm like, holy shit, we've been here for a month.
Yeah, I mean, I look up and I'm like, holy shit, too. It's been a month, but I'm like, holy shit, it's been a month. Like, I'm like, why is this not why is time moving so slow? I feel like we've been here for forever. And to know that, you know what I'm saying, we got like all this time left to go. I'm like, damn. All right, cool.
It's so weird how like fast this has become normal. Like, this just feels like, I don't know, like my roommates and stuff, we were just talking about how it feels like we've been here for months. And, you know, we've bought like blankets and couch pillows and all this stuff. Like, we've really made ourselves at home, and it's literally been 4 weeks.
I had to ship my mattress pad out here because I was like, you know
Oh, I need a mattress pad because my back is about to be broken.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm about to get comfortable. I got an air fryer, I got a rice cooker, I got a mattress pad. Amazon just took all my money.
And we've played like, what now, 6 games and
6
going on 2
games.
weeks.
6 games. I think we're all in the middle of this like gauntlet right now. We're playing 10 games every other day for 20 days. I think you guys are in the same. And I'm just like, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see it at this point. I'm like,
I pray for everybody, for real. Like, I wake up and I pray for every single person here because this is just a lot. Like, it's just a lot, but we all signed up for it, and, you know, hopefully at the end of it all, it'll be an experience we'll look back on and hopefully laugh about.
Yeah, I mean, my mom actually texted me and she was like, I mean, you guys have now coined the term Wubble, and it's going to go down as a historic thing, whether we like it or not. Do you feel at home or comfortable here, or you just don't think it's ever going to happen?
I'm cool. I'm chilling. I just miss my cat more than anything in the world, but other than that, I do feel pretty, like, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been it's been pretty easy for me, and I feel like a lot of players too, because we play overseas, you know what I mean? And like, when you're in Russia or you're in France or you're in Italy, Turkey, wherever the case may be, like, essentially you are in a bubble because you really, you know, don't go nowhere. But it's nice to be here with your teammates. You know, people are here with their spouses, significant others, their kids. Moms are here, coaches are, you know, it's like, even though it is like, okay, we're here, we're isolated from our families and our pets and other people and items and things that we love, but it's really not that hard to be here.
No, I mean, I think the thing is, we've said this is like overseas. Overseas, all we do is we go, we play basketball, we come back, we sit in the house, we watch TV, we order food, we buy things that we don't know if we even need. Like that's just the way it goes. But it's definitely an adjustment, and I like you said earlier, Diamond. Like I can't believe we've only been here for a month, but then I can't believe a month. It's going slow, but it's going fast, and soon it's gonna be September, and then I don't know.
Yeah, what's next? 2020 has thrown us all so many curveballs. It's just like, honestly, this is the most consistency I've had all year, and when it's over, I'm like, I don't even want to even think about what's next.
I mean, because we just don't know what's really coming.
Literally.
Gabby, what is the best and worst part? I mean, the worst, not being able to have HB here. But what's the best and worst part of the bubble?
Yeah, they wrong for that, for not letting us bring pets. Like, they so wrong for that.
We all would have been so much happier.
Yes.
Like,
it would have been
so
no complaints
happier.
about the bugs, no complaints about the weather. Like, we would have been chilling if we got our
My
pets.
dog would have been out here. My dog would have been out here eating bugs, for real.
The best part, I think we can all agree, is just not having to travel and fly commercial and everything.
Economy.
People don't really realize economy. Yeah, you might get an economy plus if your flight's not full, but people don't realize how exhausting that is and how tolling and taxing that is on our bodies. And those are our off days too, and we travel. So I think the best part is definitely just like after a game coming right to my room and knowing I don't have to pack or get ready for a flight early in the morning.
And you, Diamond?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably the same. I think that it's really, really nice to not have to worry about the travel. And I mean, as WNBA players, it's not like we're missing out on state-of-the-art facilities and like, cryo chambers and whatever the case may be. So although we may be short on medical personnel and staff, it's like we have always been a league full of women who are able to take care of themselves. You have to learn, like, once again, going overseas, you got to learn how to treat your own wounds, lick your own wounds, basically. So being here is a lot of that. So I can't complain too much about like treatment and whatever else. We always just make it work. I think the best thing is just like what Gabby said, just like not having to worry about getting on a flight after games or switching time zones. That's oof.
I mean, but the 10 p.m. games, what do you think about that? We have 8 of them. I just want to say we have 8. So
Sucks to be on the West Coast, though.
Yeah.
That wasn't fun.
So for some background information, we're having games at 10 p.m. Eastern time, so then the West Coast people can still watch them in prime time. Even though no one is working, everyone's working from home, we are still doing it. And you guys got back at what time? 1:30? 1:30 last night?
Yeah, went to bed around 3. I have a hard time sleeping after games. I don't know about you guys. So it's always, I mean, that was our first, was that our first 10 p.m., Gabby?
Yeah, we had a 9 p.m. and that was rough. Because after our 9 p.m., or maybe it was 8, whatever, we were like, well, what are we going to do when we have a 10 p.m. game?
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, where are we supposed to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Literally. And then I ordered food. I ordered food from the bar. And for those of you who don't know, I do not eat meat. So I ordered the sausage, the andouille and shrimp pasta. I told them don't put the andouille in it. They put the andouille in it. So when I got back after the game, it was like the food that I had ordered had sausage in it. So I'm like, hungry. Going to bed just hungry. I think I had like some Cheez-Its and called it a night.
Mm-hmm. So what's the most surprising part about the Wubble? Like, what did you not expect to happen when you came here that has happened? Good, bad, and different.
I'm surprised how efficient it is. Like, because it seemed like it got thrown together all so fast. Like, Stu, me and you were texting like, no way, they're asking us to come in July, no way.
I know, you were
It's
telling me
impossible.
like, oh, beginning of July. I'm like, no way. I'm like, I don't see it at all.
But they threw it together, so I was expecting to come here and there to be a lot more speed bumps, but it's actually been running pretty smooth. I feel like the practice times usually work out. Everyone has their time in the weight room and stuff. We have the bus to the gym, so we get our groceries delivered and everything. Packages are coming. So I don't know. I'm pretty impressed with how well things are put together.
Diamond?
Yes, yeah, same. I mean, I think we all had this like exaggerated idea of what we thought it was going to be before we got here, and a lot of it was like, I know for me, a lot of it was kind of negative. Like, I was like, man, like, this is going to happen, this is going to go wrong, like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And so when we got out here, it was almost like soon as we pulled up, I think we all just had like a sigh of relief. I think part of it was just being here and like, okay, this is real. And then after the 4-day quarantine period, just rolling with the punches, you know, like we knew that this was going to be like a learn as you go kind of process, not only for us, but for the league. But just to see how on board the league is with making sure that we're accommodated and doing the best that they can with the resources they have, to make sure that we're all comfortable has been really satisfying. Can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, going along with what you guys both said, I think that, you know, I was surprised with how well this is working, to be honest. Like, coming in and thinking ahead of time, I was like, I don't see it. Like, I don't see all of us being in the bubble, all of us, like, being okay, being safe, and, like, a season happening. But then once you come here, it's like, okay, you know, we get tested every day. We do our temperature every single day. It's like, we have people that are responsible, you know. Majority of the people here are mature. And
Majority.
And, you know, it's going to happen. The season is going to happen. And I think that, you know, our season is going to be special, the fact that we're going to go start to finish and really make it work. But it also makes me question how all these other seasons are going to work, especially with college and stuff like that. Like, they can't be in a bubble. So how is it going to work? I have no idea.
Yeah,
how are they even sending kids back to school? Someone asked me that today, like, oh, you guys have had 0 cases in however many days. And I'm like, look at all the precautions we're taking. Like, this is not the same as sending children to schools. So I don't know. It blows my mind that people think that way.
The COVID testing, for a second, it has been pretty seamless. So the way we do it here in the Wubble, every team has their respective times, that it's every half hour from like 8 to 5 or something like that. And those nurses, I mean, give them credit. They have been working like hard for us. They're just constantly swabbing people all day. And really, I mean, what the people doing on the front lines is very respected and appreciated. And obviously, we wouldn't be able to make our Wubble happen without them.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let's segue a little bit. So, I want to talk about Wubble Drip. I want to talk about Wubble Drip because it's like, when you were packing for the Wubble, did you think about bringing like Wubble Drip worthy outfits, or did you just bring whatever?
I mean, I did. I'm sitting there. I'm literally standing in my closet like, okay, is this something I'm gonna do? Then I was like, you know what? No. I'm not doing this year. I'm not. I've been in boxers every day of 2020, and I'm just gonna keep that up. I'm gonna be cozy fam every day. I'm wearing Crocs every day, and I like to think that just the entity that is Diamond DeShields is just drippy. So no matter what I have on, I'm gonna make it do what it do.
No matter if it's PJs or not, you are dripping.
Boxers.
You are drippy.
Exactly. So I had to kind of just look myself in the mirror and just, be like, you good. Like, don't sweat it. Don't sweat the technique.
Gabby, how was your
I
packing
basically
for the Wubble?
Yeah, I basically just packed like I was going overseas. The things that I know I won't be able to go to the grocery store for, but I packed like the besides that, just the bare minimum, just like my basketball shoes, and then I mean, all my shirts too. I wear a lot of graphic tees, and so I can usually make those kind of swaggy or something. But no, I barely packed anything. So like my drip outfits are basically just graphic tees or like a tee with a message on it, and everyone's like, yes, and I'm like, yeah, I put zero effort into this outfit.
Yep.
Zero.
I'm like, this shirt I tie-dyed here. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do a tie-dye, and this is the WNBA black shirt.
But everyone's like, yeah, it's Stewies drip.
Know,
like, did you see that shirt?
Everybody's so supportive.
So supportive. Gonna give a quick shout out to Sue. She's definitely been drippy. She's been on the sidelines for us, but she had the Dior ones on yesterday, and those were fire.
I'm like, Sue's still pulling fits off in the bubble. Like,
I'm just like, when did you get those? And she was like, actually, they came today. And they went from box to outfit.
Wow. Please make me like Sue.
Same with Steph, too, because I know Steph didn't bring a lot of stuff, and she's been, like, dripped out on the sidelines.
Oh, she's making it work. I'm like...
Yeah.
Makeup just been on fleek, just completely on fleek.
Mm-hmm. She's a one-shoe wonder, really. She's just smashing it.
She working the boot. She's working the hell out the boot.
There's Morgan. Game time. In my mouth. Go vote. Let's talk about basketball for a little bit. Coming here before, I guess, we really started, before we could, so June 20th was the day that technically, like, we could go into our team city or whatever and do individual workouts, which were very restricting. What were you guys able to do during quarantine, if anything at all? Where were you guys? Give me the rundown. Diamond, you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay. I was in Atlanta with my family, so rewind a little bit. I was in Chicago. I just moved into my crib in Chicago when shit started to go down. So I'm like, I'm not about to stay up here by myself. I'm gonna go home. So I go back home to Atlanta. I'm there, and we go into lockdown, which was like, okay, I'm glad I came here and can be here with my family, but like, what am I gonna do? So I bought a bike, started biking around, Buckhead, Atlanta, Georgia, and just working out in my living room, really. I spent about a month, I'm not gonna lie, I spent about a month on the couch, and I was just like, what is this? Like, yeah, I went through like a mini like mental meltdown period where I was like, couldn't go to the gym, couldn't do what I needed to do, and it made me sad. Was just watching TV with my siblings and Netflix and all day, building Lego sculptures, just trying to pass the time by. But after that, started to do some living room workouts and biking every day just to try to do something.
Gabby?
I was in the motherland. I was in France, and our quarantine there was like really, really strict. Like, we couldn't go beyond a kilometer of our house for exercise. We could only go to the grocery store and pharmacy, and you had to bring a piece of paper. I don't know what it's called in English, but we had to bring a piece of paper that like said why we were leaving and had a check mark and had our address on it. So I wasn't going nowhere. And then I did live on the beach, so I was doing like beach workouts and stuff, and then they closed the beaches like right away, because of course in Montpellier everyone's just gonna go to the beach if you tell them they can't go to work. So they shut that down. So I was just in my apartment working out. Once the cases started to go down and the second phase started to happen, I was able to go to an outdoor park. So me and James actually were shooting, and he was like had his mask and some rubber gloves on. We were playing in the park, but I didn't get into a gym from our last game until like we came to market in June, like when we got to Chicago. So that was probably like 3 months where I just didn't even go into a basketball gym.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is, I feel like a lot of people think like us as athletes, we have this like super secret, accessible access to whatever we want, courts and things like that. And it's like, where?
I dipped real quick.
Please
I was like
let me
texting
know.
everyone like, I know someone has a gym I can get into out here. I'm like texting everyone I know in France, and they were like, it's impossible, Gabby. Do not leave your house. You will get arrested.
Yeah. So I was in Russia when this all started, when the Trump travel ban happened, when the NBA was canceled. Everybody was hitting my phone like, are you okay? Da 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 da. And I was like, yeah. I don't know anything that's happening right now in Russia and things like that. But we were actually supposed to play Gabby's team. Gabby on Montpellier was supposed to come to...
Yeah, that night,
Gabby was supposed to come to ECAT. So I play in Ekaterinburg. And
right,
all of a sudden, Sammy Whitcomb, my teammate, texts me like, we're not coming. When we're supposed to have a EuroLeague game in 2 days. And she's like, we're not coming because they're afraid that if we come, we can't get back into France and the quarantine and this and that and whatever. And then another Russian team, Orenburg, actually went to France. They played Lyon, I think.
Yeah, they played Lyon.
And then they came back to Russia and they had to have a 2-week quarantine. So that was when EuroLeague was like, okay, we're on a pause. 3 days later, I was flying back to Seattle and the same. It was just... It was weird, you know. It was like super quiet. Like I lived downtown Seattle, and it was empty, empty and quiet, and I just stayed inside.
Man, it wasn't no traffic. Driving through Atlanta was like lit. I'm like, I can get all the way to the other side of the city in 10, 15 minutes. Like, wow, no traffic.
I remember that too. How crazy it was. Like we were supposed to play each other, and like. We found out at probably 2 a.m. Like, we just get a text from our, manager, like, yeah, the French Federation or whatever, embassy said don't go. And, like, I text Lou and Allie, and they had no idea. I was like, you guys know what's going on, right?
We had no idea. We're asking our teammates, like, is there any COVID cases in Russia? And she's like, no, and da-da-da. So we're like, okay. So we just played Russian League. But you guys did make us practice for a week straight, so I just wanted you to know that. That was a lot. That was a lot.
We were just chilling on the beach. We were like, no Russia, we're going to the beach today.
So now that we are able to practice, I think when my team, Seattle, when we got here, that was the first time we had all of us on the court. I mean, especially the 12 of us in 2 years, with Sue and I back. So how was it kind of getting back into the rhythm of things, being able to practice with your team? And then let's talk about the games and the arena and what we think of all of that.
Well, I think we were lucky. We were fortunate enough to have been able to got together as a whole team in Chicago. And so we were able to be around each other, obviously in groups. But everybody was in Chicago together prior to coming down to Bradenton, minus Sid, obviously, because she was dealing with her COVID situation. But we were able to be with each other a little bit before we got down here. And then, obviously, when we got down here, it was just, like, nice to finally, like, be able to sit in one room together, be able to be in the gym together and have official, practices together.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous at first, one, because of, like, injury. I think everyone was kind of struggling with, like, how well do I need to stay in shape? Because we weren't sure when season was going to be.
Right.
So, like, should I be resting and fixing my body, or should I be, like, working really hard to get in shape? So I was kind of in that in between. So I was really nervous to come back. But, I don't know. Things just came back naturally. We eased into everything. So it was actually really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think for us is the same. I mean, I think for the three of us, we've all had our fair share of random injuries. I'm coming back from a ruptured Achilles, and it's the same. It's like, I had these extra 3 months, which is like, I guess it's great, gives me extra time and makes sure my leg is like super solid and stuff like that. But it's like, we can't go 0 to 1,000. And it seems like right now we're like 0 to 999.
For real.
But I think, like Diamond, you said earlier, like, I think the most important thing and, like, my attitude right now is, I want everybody to be healthy. I think everybody, we want to make the season happen, but we want everybody to be healthy. And if anybody has anything nagging, like, nobody's going to look at you crazy because you're not playing. And that's just the reality of things. The in-court, like the game arena. I mean, did you guys watch TBT while we were here?
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the exact same thing, right? Like you see the court, you see the players, and that's about it.
Watching it was kind of like
coaches.
Yeah, watching the TBT, I think we all were we were watching it from a fan perspective, but we were also watching it like, this is weird as hell. Like, this is what we're about to be doing in a week or 2 weeks. And so, like, when the games actually started and just walking into the arena, I was just like, this is weird. Like, this is super weird.
I didn't know we were playing at a monster truck place. When we drove in the back, the bus came in the back. You see those
the giant wheels,
the big tires in the back. I'm like, where are we?
I was like, I thought we were actually going to a gym. I didn't know where we were going.
And then like our first game, like literally, like I don't know about you, but like I could not feel the momentum shift. You know, like the fans are so engaged when you're on the road or at home. They cheer or they get silent, and like. We were in the Vegas game. We were down like, I don't know, like 9 or 12 points with like in the fourth quarter, and you couldn't tell that we were still in the game. You know, we got in the huddle. We're like, y'all, we're still in this game. Yeah, like we can still win this game. And it was just like you have to really create your own energy and keep it up throughout the game, like, because you can't really feel the momentum shift that is the sixth man, that is the fans and the crowd and whatever else.
And I hate like that with no fans, you can hear everything. I think that's the thing I hate the most, is hearing both coaches, everyone complaining and crying to the refs. You can always hear that too.
Oh, the refs, like, they probably hate the games because it's like everybody is like, rawr.
Yeah,
literally. And then you got the referees that they're human beings too. At the end of the day,
I know
they just is getting just like tomatoes thrown at them all game.
I know, and then it's like, see you at the pool.
Like,
yeah, like they're the only people on campus you don't say good morning to.
Right.
I know.
Like, ew.
Quite the dynamic here. That's for sure. One thing that just, I understand our protocols, right? I understand. So let me just say that I understand the protocols of being safe, but if we're practicing together and living together and playing together and sweating on each other, why do we have to be socially distanced on the bench and in the timeout? Okay. Why does the timeout have to be over here and
and then they're like wiping the seats after you get up from the timeout. I'm like, that is, to me, that is just not that necessary. But like I said, we're not the experts. I'm sure there's some logical explanation as to why, but it just doesn't.
I know, but when you walked in the arena for the first time and you saw the seats like how the NBA seats were and the TBT, you were like, huh? I was like, what?
I'm like, so we gotta go over there to the timeout, then go.
But every time does your team walk to the sideline and then you walk like this, you got the one person saying, timeout.
Right.
Then if it's a full, you go, but if it's a 20 seconds, you stand over there.
And it makes me laugh too when like the ball rolls out a little bit and everyone's like, don't touch it.
I know.
So like just when it rolls off the court and they have to like Clorox bleach it before we can get the ball back.
From watching a game, I learned the other day, like Ryan was commentating, Ryan Rucco, and he was like, if the ball touches the carpet, that's why they have to change it.
Oh.
So like if it gets to that point where it's that far, then they have to change it. So every time our ball like goes out of bounds and somehow randomly touches the carpet, there's someone on the sideline throwing us a new ball. You throw them that ball, they wipe it off, and then we keep going.
Oh, I thought it was because it was like near people or something.
The carpet.
Okay.
It's the
They're
carpet.
Gonna breathe on it.
It's the carpet. So we're playing with no fans. This is not how I thought my return to the WNBA would be, with no fans. When do you think we will have fans?
Oh man, honestly, I'm not sure, but I don't even really see things going back to that type of normalcy. Not even next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really see, like you said, I don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, realistically, not to be negative, but just the state of our country right now and where we're at, like, it's not improving. So, you know.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll have like a miracle and maybe the state will just have like a different mindset all of a sudden and realize, oh, the virus is still here. But I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's probably not going to happen in the States anytime soon. Even in France, I know that I don't think they're going to have fans till New Year's at least. And their cases are like, they find like 4 cases a day now in the whole country.
Right.
So U.S. is screwed is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm coming out there with you.
I just feel like a lot is riding on the vaccine. And, like, don't get me wrong, a lot is riding on the vaccine. But everyone's like, that's going to make us go back to whatever. And I think now it's like, no, we're going to get the vaccine and we're going to have a new normal. And maybe people don't need to be so close to each other.
Right.
And maybe the mask is good because it just keeps you safe no matter what.
Right.
But I just think about, like, socially, like, how do you engage? Like, even these kids are spending almost a whole year in the house, like, socially, like, interpersonal communication, relationships, like, we're already so just in these, you know what I mean? Like, it's in the phone, in the video games, and so, like, now it's like, how do you really have, like, meaningful relationships with people and know how to communicate and talk and engage? Like, it's so weird to me now, and I'm an adult. I can only imagine how it's affecting, like, imagine being like an only child and you just been at home for all this time with your parents, can't be with your friends, you know, can't go to practice after school or your after school club meeting, whatever. Like, it's unfortunate, man.
No, I don't think it's easy. Like, I was talking to my grandma the other day. Shout out to grandma. But, like, my cousins, I have 4 little cousins that are living in Texas. And it's like, in Texas, it's like, you have to decide. Do you send your kids back to school? Or do you, like, have them learn virtually? And stuff like that. And like, I'm from Syracuse. My brother's in Syracuse. And he's going to have his senior year. And it's like, they're doing 3 days virtually and 2 days in school. And it's just like, so much, it's crazy, like, so much is going on Zoom and things like that. And it's like, now, you know, you can see that you don't always need to have these meetings in person and stuff like that. But for kids and the ones that are like, their brains are still like, what's the word? Their brains are, they're still developing. Like, they need those one-on-one, those 2-on-2, those, you know, creating relationships.
I always think of the kids.
I
always think of the kids who, like, don't have access to this kind of stuff too, and like how much, like, they don't have a computer at home, or you know, parents who have to work so much but don't have anyone to take care of their kid while they're working now, or they can't send them to school or to daycare, whatever it is. So I feel like for especially lower class communities, like, they're getting hurt the most by this, for this new normal, you know?
And then you're talking about maybe some schools, like you said with Connor, like, he's having like X amount of days that'll be virtual. Well, like, there are some kids who can't even afford to have virtual classes because they don't have a computer, and then their parents work all day long. So what are those families supposed to do? Where are they supposed to go? It's just, I couldn't imagine being a parent right now. I mean, watching my little sister go through this, her senior year too, you know, and the things that she's experiencing, missing her last AAU summer, like, you know, like, high school sports, what does that look like? It just is, it's terrible.
I mean, for the seniors especially, it's tough. Like, the seniors from the NCAA tournament, you know, the seniors in college, the seniors in high school, there's nothing you can say that's going to make it feel better, you know? There's nothing to make it better. It's just, you know, I guess appreciating that you're still okay and there's more to life than just what you're doing in sports. And I think that's a big thing that's really coming to the forefront for our entire world and especially our country. I want to talk a few more things about basketball, and then we're going to switch the subject again.
Cool.
Predictions for the season. I'm like, I know you guys are both on Chicago, and I'm from Seattle, so.
Yeah, I was like, you know what our answer is going to be.
I'm like, all right, let's go like this. Semifinal predictions. Who are going to be the last 4 teams here?
Oh my goodness. I mean, based on what's happening right now, where we are right now, I would have to say us, you guys, Seattle, Minnesota, and Washington or Phoenix, you know. Yeah. So that's 5 teams, but, you know, interchangeably, that's my...
I asked you a tough question. Guess. I don't know.
I have the same exact 4 as Diamond. For sure.
Easier question. Rookie of the
year. What do you say?
Rookie of the year.
No.
Yeah, wait, no, I want to hear your answer.
You got an answer, too.
My answer. Us, you guys, LA, Phoenix.
So you think cool. You don't have Washington or in there? Minnesota? They're young.
Phoenix is getting it together right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they have DNBG, it's difficult.
But it's like everybody gotta stay healthy, dude. Like
that's the other thing is like
that's the big just like, you know.
I don't know. I mean, I know I asked the question, but I don't know the answer. Rookie of the year.
Kennedy.
Hollywood.
I mean,
yeah, I'm going Hollywood.
She smoked us the other night. She had 35. she had 35, and she was super efficient. Like, if I was watching the game and not playing, I would be like, whoa. But I was like,
yeah,
damn, we sucked on defense. Like, we let her get everything.
I mean, but you know, Stu, like, you know, it's some shit that you just can't even guard. Like, It's just some stuff that, you know, we're all capable of, that it's like, no matter who's in front of you, it's like, it's going to happen. It's going down just like this. And I think Kennedy just has so much of that in her game. It's just like she has so much just change of pace, just athleticism, explosiveness, speed, that even if you do have a good defensive possession, it's like she can still just, like, make something happen.
Yeah. No, she's electrifying, and I think makes that team very, very exciting. Obviously for this season, but also for what's to come. Her and Courtney Williams, obviously Elizabeth Williams. I can continue on and on and on.
Yeah.
And she like looks too, like a pro.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, she looks like she takes
when I watch her, I don't feel like I'm looking at a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Last question about basketball, kind of, I promise. So we had, I don't remember the exact date. I want to say June 25th. June 25th was the last day to opt out of the WNBA. I'm not sure exactly what the date was, but I think it was like 24th, 25th, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, why did you decide to opt in?
For me, it came down to going through this experience with my teammates. Like, I'm here because of them. I'm here for them. This is not something that I would have comfortably sat at home while the rest of my teammates were here going through. And for me, that was enough. Everybody knows that our team is really close and tight-knit. And if there was any other group, if there was any way for me to go through this process with anybody, it would be with the group that I'm here with right now. So that's basically what it was for me.
Gabby?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like our team, we're all in everything all together all the time. Like, we never make a decision that isn't all of us. And I was like really hesitant and I was really reluctant, and even to think that having a season was possible. And I was like, guys, we're just going to go there. 5 people are going to get the case. We're going to get sent back. But once I saw like on our Zoom calls that our teammates really all seemed like about it, like, yeah, let's all do this together. Like, this can be really good. We can have a good year. That really motivated me. And then I didn't even really think twice about coming after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm the same. You know, I'm going to be honest, and like I said, I didn't plan on coming back to the WNBA and being in a bubble. I was looking forward to kind of having that return in front of the fans in Seattle, all that, just because like when you're away and you see your team and how they're struggling and having success without you, like you miss that. You miss being a part of that. But that being said, you know, I thought as a league and really as players, we had a lot of Zooms, we had a lot of opportunities to kind of come together and talk about the social injustices that were happening. And obviously, you know, we've talked about there's 2 different viruses that's happening in the world and specifically our country, and that's COVID and racism. And I think the fact that, you know, we are able to kind of come together as a league and really make this season about more than basketball, it's been a lot. And I feel like, you know, as a league, you guys know, we're always at the forefront of social issues, you know, continuing to put ourselves in the position of calling and demanding for action. And this season is dedicated to say her name and to Black Lives Matter, and we've had the opportunity to really represent and fight for justice for Breanna Taylor, and now this week carrying that over to Sandra Bland. And, you know, just your initial thoughts on what we've done so far as a league, and then I'll get into specifics after that.
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing a lot of these interviews, and everyone keeps saying the same thing to me. Is like, wow, everyone's like really looking to the WNBA. Like we're really the role models for this, and I think that's so cool, and it speaks volumes about who we are as players. But you know, again, like back to your question about what made you decide to come to the bubble, I was like, how powerful could that be if I'm a 12-year-old black girl, you know, 12-year-old me at home, and I turn on the TV during a time like this and I just see like all these powerful women and all the things that we're doing for our community. So it's crazy that we didn't even purposely think that we were going to be, our platform was going to be this much like amplified this year, and it really has. So I think we've just really stepped up to the plate and shown what we can do.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the way the league has, the efforts that the league has put forth in amplifying the voices of the players. Like Gabby said, coming into this bubble, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't leaving the rest of the world behind. And so being really mindful of like, what can I do while I'm here to still make sure that I'm connected? And I'm not just using this as an escape. And I think that every day we're reminded, you know, every day before every game, we watch that tribute video, and it's Breanna Taylor. And these past couple games, it's been Sandra Bland. And every time I put my head down and I listen to what's being said, I'm on the brink of tears, because I literally am like, that could have been me. You know, 25 years old, 26 years old, like, could have been me. And it's just a constant reminder, and it serves its purpose in making sure that we continue to say her name, making sure that we continue to use our voices, our platforms. And I wouldn't want to be here doing it with another group of women, because, you know, we're it. The WNBA is it. It's the marginalized of the marginalized. And so for us to be doing what we're doing is not a surprise to me, but I'm just glad the rest of the world and America and the sports world is being able to see it and experience it.
Yeah, and I think
yeah,
we
I love to. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love too that everyone, like you said, was like, oh, during this time we need a distraction. Like, we need sports back so we can have a distraction. And just, I love that collectively we were like, fuck that. Because we're tired. Like, us as black athletes, we've been dehumanized to just our sport for so long now. You know, when you're on the court, you're not, they don't want to see you as black. That's the distraction. And we finally said, look, if you're going to want us as basketball players, you better accept and you better love our blackness as well. And I think the WNBA has been like the prime example of this is all of us. You know, you don't just get the basketball anymore, the athleticism, you get all of us now.
Yeah, and I think, like Diamond said, you know, the WNBA has really kind of had our back as far as, you know, what we want to do, what we want, as far as messaging, what we have on the court. You know, we have Black Lives Matter on the court. We have Say Her Name on our shooting shirts. We have Breanna Taylor's name on the back of our jersey. And, you know, one thing that someone, I don't know if someone asked me or I saw it somewhere, but it was like, how do you get all of these players to agree on the same thing? You know, how do you get everyone to buy in? And I think for me and for my team, speaking for my team, it was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You know, you go back to Natasha Cloud's Players Tribune. Natasha Cloud's Players Tribune article. It's 2020. Like, wake up. We're supposed to have flying cars. You know, like, when we were younger and you look at 2020, you think about, oh, it's going to be like the Jetsons with the flying cars and all that shit. And it's like, no, we're still here and we're dealing with this bullshit racism where it's like, people need to wake up and like wake up and smell the coffee and like realize that this is our world and accept us and help us continue to grow.
That's facts.
Yeah, I feel like you said, we imagine this like Jetsons world and we keep hearing it's 2020, it's 2020, how is this still happening? And I think this is the first time where people, you know, we live in this age of information right now. People are starting to understand why it's like this in 2020. And now we're kind of reshaping the infrastructure and all the systemic racisms that we're seeing because we keep hearing like, this is not how I imagined us to be at this point in the world, you know, in 2020. But look at it, like, our country was designed to be like this in 2020.
Or even those who were just like, I didn't even know racism was a thing. You know, like, that shit just blows my mind.
Right.
You know, it's like I get it, like, being white in America is a totally different experience, but, you know, that's something that's been brought to my attention as well. You know, it's like part of the reason why these white people are so oblivious to racism is really because they just don't even know that the shit exists. And like you said, being in the age of information, now it's just in your face. Like, you don't have a choice. We're not giving you a choice. And like Stewie said, it's like, it's time to wake up.
So obviously, you know, we're doing what we can to continue to promote and create change on our platforms, right? And our platforms have been given to us because of, you know, who we are and what we created from basketball and beyond. But also, you know, continuing to kind of educate people. You know, we educate ourselves and then we educate the people that follow us. We've had an opportunity to kind of have Zoom calls with Breanna Taylor's mother, with Michelle Obama, with Sandra Bland's sister, with Reverend Warnock. I'm going to talk about the Vote for Warnock shirts a little bit. A few games ago, majority of the league, you know, if you wanted to, you rep the Vote for Warnock. And that's just another point of standing in solidarity and knowing that, you know, if we want to create real change and create equality and end systemic racism, you know, it starts with voting. And, you know, Diamond, you're from Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, you're not from, but you live there. Talk a little bit about the shirts and what you thought of it, and then we'll go to Gabby.
Well, the shirts, I mean, it's really just a call to action. You know, voter suppression is very, very real. And I don't know all the numbers, but, you know, African Americans typically don't vote. And I think that it's huge for us as a league to have been unified in that, because immediately after what happened, you know, Reverend Warnock gained X amount in sponsorship, raised X amount in
$185,000
money for his campaign. Yeah, and it's just like that. We talk about visibility in the league for our own benefit, for, you know, us making money, but if you allow us to be visible, we can make change greater than, you know, for ourselves. And that was very telling for us. And I think that is going to motivate the players in the league to continue to use their platform to see the change that we're capable of making. You know, it's one thing for people to say it, but like that was a direct result of what we did. And I'm really
we were
happy,
all over.
From Atlanta, I want to just encourage everybody to vote, to register to vote, to make sure you're doing your census. That's one of the things that, who said that? I think Michelle Obama said that on the Zoom call. Do your census is so important, and you know, vote for Reverend Warnock, man. Like, let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like people thought we were playing politics, and I'm like, I love that people think that politics, you know, for the privileged is literally just politics, when for us it's like our livelihood and it's our way of life. It's how we live, if we're gonna live, rides on this, you know. So I think that was a big part of this too, and that we're trying to educate everyone on, is that yes, this is about an election, but what Warnock stands for is everything that we stand for as a league. So again, this is part of our identity. This is a part of what we do and what we want to represent. So not only are we gonna hopefully get an amazing man into office, we're also preaching against disenfranchisement. We're also encouraging people to vote, do their census and all that, but we're also projecting our views and what we appreciate about him and about ourselves as well.
Yeah, I mean, Black Lives Matter is not a political statement. You know, it's a fact. Mm-hmm. It's a fact. And like when people kind of open up their eyes and see that, you know, it's happening, but we're going to continue to kind of push it out there. And voting, you know, if you want to create change, vote, register to vote, make sure you're educated on who you're voting for depending on where you're living. I voted for Washington. I sent in my ballot absentee. I sent that in the other day. So now I just want to hear what you guys have to say. You guys have started this initiative, Sky Take Action. And can you guys just give me a little bit of the backstory, what it's about, where the money is going, and how the money is raised, and basically the ins and outs of it?
Okay, I'll say what it's about, and Gabby, you can talk about where the money is going and everything like that.
Okay.
So, basically, what it came down to is something I mentioned earlier in the interview, is like making sure that we didn't come here and disappear, you know, essentially. Like, we didn't want our presence not to be felt. And so we had a team meeting, threw some ideas around, and came up with this idea of Sky Takes Action, which was initially another name that y'all kind of
Seattle took
from
we did.
Seattle kind of took. It's not that you took it, but it's like it was the exact same thing, but just
really
like
it was because your guys'
so
force for change. Ours was
and
Sky.
What was yours?
Ours was Sky for. It's Sky for Change.
I'm so
you guys
sorry.
put us back
I didn't
like
even
2 days. It was released and we were like, guys, we have to change everything.
We were like.
Really? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'm so sorry.
Indiana
Listen,
has
I think
now
the
has
action
fever.
is killing.
Yeah. So we partnered up with Athletes for Justice, which is a non-for-profit in Chicago, actually. President of that non-for-profit is Sam Acho, who played for the Bears. And it was originally a football thing. Some NFL guys getting together, raising money, working on these projects throughout Chicago. Then they spread out, okay, hey, if we can do this in the NFL, why can't we get other sports teams in Chicago involved in this? So, you know, we got baseball players, soccer players, hockey players all over. And then they brought me in. I'm the only female. So I'm in this group of guys, and we're doing this work in the community and get to the bubble. And I'm like, oh shit, like my team, like this is something that I think that my team could definitely be doing to help with a project of whatever. So we had our team meeting, you know, everybody's throwing their ideas around, which nonprofits they want to help. And then, Gabby kind of was the glue that tied everything together as far as organizing. And I'm super grateful for Gabby and, her involvement, because it's allowed this thing, Gabby gave this thing legs to walk. And now it is what it is. And so I'm going to just toss it over to you. And
Well, that's like way too much credit, I think. Because I feel like everyone has been so involved in this and so collective. I basically just, the main focal point of it is where we as players, as the Chicago Sky, are donating $10 per point and $100 per win, $50 per loss to basically to Athletes for Justice, but they're dispersing it among 5 organizations that we selected. One of them being By the Hand, who Diamond worked with. And then we have 3 other grassroots ones out of Chicago, 2 other grassroots ones out of Chicago, and then 2 national ones. They're all minority-led, which is really important to us. We wanted to make sure that we were giving money to people who had similar experiences to what we had, who understood what it's like to be Black. So we focus on organizations like that. And then on top of that, we ask the fans to match us, whatever we donate. So when you go to our link and you see the Mighty Cause, all that money is just from the fans. That's not even from us. That's just like the fans competing to match with us, and they've done an incredible job so far. And then we have some big announcements more this week coming about future matches that are coming up. So be looking forward to that. I am holding my tongue really hard to not say because I'm so excited about it, but a lot of money is going to be raised out of this. We're also going to be holding auctions. Slew and Allie and
So
Steph
it's $10 per point. So I'm just curious. So let's say you have 89 points. That's $890 per person.
No, as a team collectively.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. As a team collectively, yeah.
All right. Well, this is what we can do. When we play each other, I'll match our side of things from Seattle.
Wow.
Oh,
Hopefully,
that's love.
I mean, I hope we have more points than you,
real.
but I got you for real.
That's incredible.
No, but you can open this up to your team too. It could be something that you guys share. At the end of the game, if we do raise, like I remember last game, it was $890.
Yep.
You guys can match that for us, and that's love for real.
For sure. I'll talk to my team. Regardless, we'll match it, and then if people want to add in more, we got it.
That's incredible.
Appreciate y'all.
So, in closing, what should the fans look for besides Sky Takes Action, correct? Sky Takes Action.
Right.
Besides Sky Takes Action, what should the fans continue to look for with upcoming social justice work in the WNBA? What's next?
Well, I mean, like I said, we're going to be
Don't
having
tell us
auctions.
the secret, what?
We'll be holding auctions of some of our items. We'll be auctioning like Zoom calls and things like that for the fans to be a part of this with us. And if you're a fan, you can support us just by, I'll be doing Instagram lives with some of the organizations so people can actually learn. So it's not just transactional, you give money, you're done. We want our fans and fans of the WNBA to actually learn from this and learn about what these organizations are doing and how they can kind of navigate themselves when it comes to fighting for social justice. So just give whatever you can, whether it's listening or learning, money, sharing, just give whatever you can.
Yeah, that's basically it. We dedicated this season to say her name, to Black Lives Matter, but our organization, the Chicago Sky, is working with Athletes for Justice, and we're trying to raise as much money as we can over the course of this season to make sure that when this bubble ends and we come back to Chicago, that we can have boots on the ground and be working with organizations that are actually doing the work that we want to see happen in Chicago. So there will be more projects at that time when we are out of the bubble. But the biggest thing I want to encourage everybody to do is to register to vote and get ready. Because if you don't think that your vote matters, just look at where we are right now in 2020. And that is because of voting. So let's get it together. Let's do better. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, let's just continue to do things like you said, together. Let's continue to get better. Let's continue to vote. And I'm sure for the people who don't know, now they'll know about your guys' initiative and what's going on in Chicago and across the league. But really appreciate you guys. I mean, you guys are like my heart. Love you guys. And I just want to say that's a wrap.
Love you.
That's a wrap for the first episode of Stewie's World. Thank you to my guests, Gabby and Diamond. I'm sure they're gonna get a shout out of you guys' socials so you can follow each other for what you guys are promoting. For the fans out there, make sure you just subscribe to the Uninterrupted YouTube channel for more episodes. We'll be checking in throughout the WNBA season, so stay tuned for more conversations from inside the Wubble. For the audio podcast listeners, subscribe to Stewie's World feed wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Breanna Stewart. Stay tuned for more Inside the Wubble for Stewie's World. Get involved. Contact Attorney General Daniel Cameron and demand justice for Breonna Taylor. This message is brought to you by Breanna Stewart, Uninterrupted, and a generation on the right side of history.